Looking at this sign just makes me feel so incredibly proud to be a Guyanese, especially at this time where we're celebrating our Republic anniversary. 50 years, guys.
Yes, for sure, Mashramani is a Guyanese thing.
And just thinking about the incredible culture, the traditions, and everything that it has to offer, wow, I can't even believe it. Mashramani, a celebration after hard work, has become the highlight of Guyana's Republic celebrations and has for 5 decades given the nation's Republic Day its impact, identity, popularity, and cultural mark. The history of this most coveted national event is rooted in the core understanding of the need for unity and togetherness. When Guyana thinks of Mashramani, however, the name James Jimmy Hamilton rings clear. As a founding member of the JC's Mackenzie, Hamilton was foremost in the origin, design, concept, vision, and the very invention of Mashramani.
In 1970, when we were now going to become a republic, and one of the president of the day, in a public statement, said that, comrades, we are now going to be a republic, and I don't want to hear that you're crowning queens and kings. We in Guyana de nouveau. So that shook us. Well, what are we going to do? We can't have a carnival queen. What's going to happen? And that was the trigger that started Mashramani. Because we had to know, and because Republican status brought us forward from May to February, it means we had a shorter time now to plan. And we did the first thing by Guyanizing the celebration. We no longer had a Juve or Old Mass. We had a 4-day morning jump-up, which was not unusual in Guyana in that people did this every New Year's morning. When they left all this night ball, they go in the streets to be called 4-day morning jump-up.
Hamilton and team did research and hunted for a name that was indigenous to Guyana to call the festival. They came up with Mashramani. It is a coinage of the Arawak word Mashramani, which means work. Nevertheless, they adopted the word, which gives the festival a local concept.
It was muster many to celebrate after a successful gathering for a particular project, a successful project, whether it's harvesting or what. And the word you said that is used is in English, they don't know. It's an Arawak word, and it's not certain thing, but it sounds like Mashramani. But there's no Arawak dictionary, and we don't have the thing. So we say, hi, this sounds ideal. We are a cooperative republic, and this and self-help at the time was being peddled by the government. This is the ideal situation.
The Guyanese Carnival took on high national importance in 1969 under Hamilton's leadership and was adopted as an official National Day event. By the time the celebration was centralized in Guyana's capital in 1972, it had already brought about significant changes in Guyana's social landscape. Veteran broadcaster and playwright Ron Robinson was involved in the event, particularly when it came to the city. He tells of the early days of the most anticipated Guyanese cultural event.
I also remember the National Park being the venue for the MASH parade. The floats and the masquerade bands, and there were quite a few floats, well done, and costuming and what have you. And what I remember vividly is that we would start at, say, 9 in the morning, and at 9 o'clock, the first masquerade band, because we always started with a masquerade band, they led the way. They would come in at 9 o'clock on the button. And by the time they came past the judges and they were going back out, the second band was coming in. And the same thing, there was a continuous flow. And I think it was because of two persons. One was Mr. Bunny Finance, who was a no-nonsense man. And what he said to all the masquerade, well, all the participants with their costumes and so on, he assigned them numbers, they pulled numbers, and he separated them. And if you were number 4, you came in at number 4. You could not come in at number 5 or 6. If that was the case, you were not judged. The judges were told you were cancelled.
He told a tale of how Guyanese would eagerly await Mashramani to be part of the festive affair. Describing Mashramani as a second Christmas, Robinson spoke of the well-touted mass games our parents and grandparents reminisce about ever so often.
Mass games blew your mind. There's a stand at the National Park, the Southern Stand, which is known as the Mass Games Stand. And you had a couple thousand children, each with different plaques or placards. And on a signal, they would change the placard. So what you saw was the Guyana flag, 2,000 plaques forming the Guyana flag. Then they would take it down and come up and you'll see the coat of arms. And then they'd take it down and you see something else, like one people, one nation, one death. And they did it like soldiers. On a signal, they would know the next plaque to bring up. So they brought it up. And because they were so close together, it looked like one painting.
Basking in the glory of Guyanese music and influence in the entire Caribbean region and wider world, Robinson reminded of some significant Mashramani and cultural contributors.
You had organizers such as the late Billy Pilgrim, and he wrote, for example, Let Us Cooperate, and he was one of our leading musicologists, shall we say, and he was part and parcel of the musical aspect of MASH. I know Lord Canary at one time was also, and having been a minister, he was also very, very key to MASH in those days. We had Linda Dolphin as chairman of the Department of Culture, and she was one of the persons on whom Forbes Burnham put a lot of confidence. He placed confidence in her for the first Carry Festa, which was held there in 1972. Just 2 years after MASH started, we had Carry Festa. And Leonard Dolphin was perhaps the most important part of the best yet Carry Festa, which was ours in 72. Nobody has been able to top it as yet.
Returning to the early years of MASH, as it is popularly called, history tells the story of organizers traveling across the country to bring out the best cultural productions and performances from each region. This included a number of beauty contests, of which Nicole Telford participated and won in 1987. She sat down with InfoHub and told her glorious experience winning the crown that year.
Comrade MASH male and female competition, it gave youths in particular a chance to showcase what their community, it teaches them too what their community produce, because lots of the youths nowadays, they're growing up, they don't actually know. In my time, I really didn't, and when I got on the platform, that is what taught me.
Let us be reminded of our purpose as Guyanese, to keep the traditions of Mashramani alive, but I know I'm getting way too deep and it doesn't call for all of that. Mashramani is a lot more about just the reflection. It's about the celebration.
There are many things that come to mind when we think about Mashramani. No matter how we celebrate MASH, we know that music plays a critical role.
Yeah, but a MASH without music just isn't MASH at all.
And I think we all can agree, because this year we followed a young, talented artist's journey through the Soca Monarch competition as part of our Golden Jubilee coverage. This is DJ Avalanche.
Officially named Kwesi Coates, DJ Avalanche said his journey through music dates back to his much younger years.
I could recall as a little boy growing up, I used to be in the yard making tin cup band and going around to the neighbor houses and performing and collecting a $20 and stuff like this. You know, and since then, I come from a long line of singers as well, because majority of my family members, they either sing or they're into DJing and stuff like this. So I think that's where I got the talent from.
DJ Avalanche made his debut in the African Cultural and Development Association's Emancipation Rap, Poetry, and Reggae competitions in 2008, where he walked away with the top prize. Most notably, the young artiste gained traction in 2009 as a finalist in the GTT Jingle and Song competition. The vibrant singer, who is also a music coordinator at the National Communications Network, tells us about being part of the Carib Soca Monarch competition this year.
The song that I entered with this year, in the competition with this year, I was supposed to enter last year with it, right? But I missed the entry date, so I didn't get a chance to enter. But I said to myself, you know what, next year we're going to be, this is what I said last year, next year we're going to be celebrating 50 years and I have to be a part of this regardless of what. So I started to promote my song since last year so people could get familiar with it.
Like most musicians serious about nurturing their craft, DJ Avalanche put the practice needed to perfect his entry song for this year.
This song actually was recorded since 2016. Since 2016. And I was in the studio with Trevor Vibes and Daryl Pugsley. And Trevor Vibes is another Guyanese artist that lives overseas and making waves overseas right now. And he was recording a song on the same rhythm called Drinker. Right? And I was like, Daryl, hey, I like this rhythm. I could do something nice on this rhythm. I went home, turned on the track, and I sit and I had the melody in my head. Y'all whine and push it back. Y'all move that bumper, push it back. That's all I had in my head, right? And I said, you know what? I gotta put some words and I gotta put some verses to this chorus here, and it could be a really good song.
In every career, a support system is necessary, especially when the function of that job is to entertain others. Aside from the friends and family that provide the boost needed for his performances, DJ Avalanche delved into the support he received during his early years in the music industry.
The first person that actually started out to actually record DJ Avalanche and produce music for me, he's passed and gone, Spider-Man. When nobody wanted to work with me, he was the one that said, you know what, Avalanche, I'm going to work with you. You know, I'm going to give you that push that you're looking for. You know, and I mean, I took the push that he gave to me and I worked on it, and here I am today.
Music is said to be the universal language of mankind. With this in mind, DJ Avalanche expressed hope that women will feel the spirit of the song and simply have fun.
I decided to bring the song, Push It Back, you know, and I mean, a lot of people ask me why is it, I mean, we're celebrating 50 years, why is it I didn't sing something about Guyana or sing something, why didn't come up with another theme? And I said to them, like I said, I'm here for the ladies this year.
On the night of the semi-finals, DJ Avalanche scored a coveted spot among 14 other artists who displayed that they have what it takes to be Soca Monarch 2020. Ecstatic about his semi-finals performance, DJ Avalanche said it has been a rewarding experience.
I want my name to go down in history, you know. I want people to say that, yo, DJ Avalanche was part of Soca Monarch in 2020 when Guyana celebrated 50 years as a republic nation.
Though DJ Avalanche didn't claim the coveted spot of being Soca Monarch, four-time winner Jimo Primo rise to the top of the charts as Soca Monarch 2020 with his song Trample Them.
But Mash is finally here and I just can't wait to see them floats and man them costumes.
But tell me something, who are the people responsible for these gorgeous costumes, capturing our national heritage on Mash Day?
Let me tell you, we caught up with some of them and they're really bringing their A game this year.
I've been doing costume competitively since I was 13. Costume design for me started out like a hobby, like a plaything. It wasn't something I was actually thinking I wanted to get into a career. Well, currently we're doing for the actual adult foot parade, we're doing 5 bands. One of the bands in my personal band this year. As my 17th year involved in Mashramani, I decided, you know, that I wanted to do a band and I'm going to launch. Well, we launched the Heritage Band a few weeks ago. and we have that. So that's going to be a new addition to MASH 2020.
That was Nielsen Nurse, one of Guyana's top designers who turned a hobby into a successful career. Nurse triumphed at Guyana's 50th independence in 2016 when he was crowned Costume Designer of the Year. He is aiming to add another Golden Jubilee Costume Designer for MASH 2020.
I am not like the other designers, whereby most people might have different. I work with concept. My concepts are stories, they tell stories, so most of my pieces are most times crafted. So most times you might see the other bands might have maybe just a simple pants and a top. My costumes are full costumes. It's always a crafted piece.
Teamwork makes the dream work, and for designer Nurse, his team is ready to celebrate and compete at MASH 2020.
What do you expect from this year's Mashramani, being it the 50th Republican anniversary?
Expect to win, of course. As usual, we always win.
Nice. And what does Mashramani mean to you?
Coming together, enjoying everybody, coming as one to celebrate.
22 years of dedication in costume designing screams Cheval Marks, who is part of designer Nurse's team. The seamstress told us what Mashramani means to her.
To me, it means a lot because it's a celebration after hard work, and everyone should at least enjoy themselves on that day.
Veteran Maxie Williams, owner of Maxie Designs, has been a costume and fashion designer for the past 25 years.
I've first started in Mashramani back in 1996 or something. That was my first experience. I could remember back in that time or a little bit later on in the Mashramani, I was inspired by the costumes and the large costumes that they would have had on the road at that time.
This year, Williams will headline his own MASH band titled Maxie Williams Image.
For the past 8 years, I've been one of the designers who have my own band. This year, I'm coming out as a large band category, full works, king and queen, individual costumes, and that would celebrate my 2 decades in a part of Mashramani.
Maxie Williams designs reflect recycling and usage of local materials like DVDs, PVC pipes, and fiberglass rods that provide flexibility and movability in his designs.
This year we're going very patriotic, celebrating our national colors and showcasing our support as a Guyana together, working together and being a part of that team. I want to be a part of building the creative industry. So my band basically showcase and proudly invest that time and effort into the building of the creative industry. I mean, that's my department. And I always believe that as a patriotic person, I can play that part as an ambassador within the cultural industry.
Now you see why our local designers are so important to Mashramani.
Okay, so we had the history, we had music, we had costumes. But tell me something, what do you think about when you hear the word Guyana? Is it waterfalls, cricket? How about the rum, El Dorado rum? Just the other day I went at the Rum Fest and it was lit.
For some, dreams remain dreams, but for young entrepreneur Yannick David, his dream became a reality. He and his team successfully hosted Guyana's first ever rum festival that celebrated our famous rum.
Guyana we're known for the best rum in the world, and I think it's an additional tourism attraction to have our own rum festival to celebrate our rum and to also celebrate our history.
The Rum Fest attracted many big names, including the British High Commissioner to Guyana, His Excellency Greg Quinn. As the High Commissioner enjoyed his 15-year-old rum, he described the event as a perfect magnet for Guyanese and tourists.
I think it's really good, you know, in retrospect we should have had something like this a long, long time ago, you know, celebrating one of Guyana's finest products and certainly in my view the finest rum in the world. Why should people not come to Guyana to sample and drink the best rum in the world?
According to U.S. visitor Brandon Tarnay, the Rum Fest was a good way to experience Guyana.
I was very excited to see that there was a rum festival, and when I heard about it I wanted to come and got here, and I'm far more impressed than I expected, so it's been really great. In my experience, the from what I've experienced so far and from other places where I've lived, Guyana has a beautiful, very deep and rich culture. The food is absolutely amazing. The rum has been awesome. I've shared it with my family back home, and they also love it. And Rum Fest is just another way to be able to experience it with Guyanese.
Latoya Zephyr cannot wait to be back at the event next year.
It gives me a good starter, a jump start, for the 50th anniversary. So it's hyping up for the year because we're only in February. So it's giving me that hype that, I'm going to get more amazing events. It's something that I hope sets a trend for what to look forward to for the rest of the year.
Well, we know how the rum tastes, but what about its history and how it is made? Demerara Distillery Limited's Daryl Manny Chan, the distillery operations manager, and Jason Bouchtot, the warehouse manager, shared their expertise on the rum making process.
DDL El Dorado, we're the only rum producers that have the distillation process from start to finish. So what we have at the booth right now is basically educating our basic customers coming in to say that our process goes through fermentation, distillation, aging, and then finally being bottled as El Dorado rum.
We have one each from our signature stills. So the coffee still, the EHP wooden coffee, and our Port Moran double wooden pot still, with the Port Moran double wooden pot still being the only existing pot still or still of its kind in the world.
Another son of the soil, Kian Jabour, blessed his taste buds with a few samples.
This is the first time I'm actually getting a real lesson on how this rum is made and where it comes from and the whole history behind it. The whole festival is amazing. What I like best about it is pretty much what I said. It's more educational than anything. It's a good way for the foreigners and the locals to come and learn a little bit more about Guyana's culture, and rum is such a big part of that.
Satisfied was how the organizer felt as his event proved to be a hit.
The most important thing is the vision that I had in my mind is alive. It's a huge accomplishment. We're very happy. We're very passionate Guyanese. We are always pro-Guyana. And that's one of the reasons why we did is we have to have events that reflect our culture and Guyanese culture.
The Rum Fest was an unmissable event for spirit lovers. But we're going on with the party lovers.
Party? We have that covered. What is MASH without revelers? Imagine all those people flouncing and bouncing to the beat. Paul's party truck is a must.
This year we're going to do with 2 trucks. One will be music. We're going to have some other small trucks like facilities, washroom, food, these kind of things. But the main 2 trucks are, the music truck and the double-decker trucks where patrons can party on the truck. So in other words, it's a moving party basically on the road. So we always call it Paul's party truck. Right? So it's a party on the road for MASH. Instead of just standing up on the road and just watching everything pass, you could actually be involved, be on the route.
That was the CEO for Pulse Entertainment, Robbie Singh. The business has been around for nearly 11 years and specializes in executing events, logistics for companies, equipment rentals, and much more. Beginning at 10 a.m. on MASH Day, Paul's party truck will have attractive packages for those that wish to enjoy Mashramani the Paul's way.
Most of the times we cater, so it's making it simple. We want to make it simple as possible, easy on us. So we normally use a pollo tropical, and they would put together the grilled chicken, the rice, the yellow rice, the plantain, and all these different things. And then we normally work with Banks DIH. You get the rum. You get the beers and everything, and they would provide that, and patrons get that unlimited. And then we would normally go with these guys that do hot dogs. For Road Reveler, meaning you get the party on the road. For $6,000, you get breakfast, you get food, lunch, you get drinks all day. And then you get an after party that we go back to Palm Court if you can keep up. Okay. Right? And $12,000 this year, we're doing the same package, but you get to be on the truck. For those persons who a little lay back, they don't want the sun too much, they don't want to walk the streets for the entire route.
According to Robbie, Pulse Entertainment relishes its role in helping to shape Guyana's image to the world as a tourism destination given the country's diverse culture.
And we providing things like this is a different view and it's option. So they get to experience, and people would be on the road and be like, you know what? I want to be on the truck now. And they would actually come and say, can I join? And we'd say, yes, go ahead. And after that, they'd be shaking your hand. I had a great time. Food was good, drinks was good. And foreigners, they don't ask so much. Cold beer, rum, the cheapest one, is great for them because they want to experience the culture and what it's about.
To remain competitive in the growing entertainment industry,
Paul's Entertainment has committed to making the necessary adjustments so that its customers remain satisfied during and after each event.
In the future and this year, what we're going to do is we're going to have a different approach. The approach now, it's more modern, it's more competitive, it's more what you get for what you want. So we're going to change, what we're going to do is change the whole perspective of, it doesn't mean big. In other words, we used to really say, you know, we want 10 trucks, we want the whole 9 yards. I think now what we're going to be doing is simplifying everything and giving you a better experience, because I think now Guyana is in a state where we need quality over quantity. And I think that is what will make Pulse a little more different in the futures to come.
During the Mashramani Float Parade and similar national events, alcohol consumption is normal. Pulse Entertainment is making the necessary steps to ensure both the security and safety of its patrons.
The contingency plan is that we have on-site paramedics, but we know that the police and the MASH committee also have the plan for anyone, and this is what I know, anyone in the MASH route or any patrons or anyone on the road, if anything was to happen, you know, they have paramedics, ambulance, police, everyone stand by there for that same particular reason, because getting in and out, you would still need the assistance from the police or the paramedics or the ambulance, because, you know, I can't just run through because I move. You know, so the places, all of those things are in place with, you know, the entire team.
Well, there you have it. MASH the Pulse Wave. Who's going behind the big truck this year?
Happy Republic Day.